Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill raises costs for families all across this country while handing out giant tax breaks to billionaire corporations. So here we have Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos getting billions of dollars in tax breaks, paid for by kicking 15 million Americans off their health care and raising health care costs for millions more. One of the most ridiculous tax breaks in this bill is called retroactive research and experimentation expensing. Let's use plain English on this. This is money to incentivize research that corporations like Meta and Amazon conducted years ago. We're going to give them a break now to incentivize them for things they did a long time ago. So, because of Trump's horrible bill, the federal government will hand $67 billion in these tax breaks to giant corporations next year. Now, Mr. Korb, as IRS Chief Counsel, you would be in charge of drafting the guidance and regulations that will determine whether or not these corporate tax breaks stay at $67 billion, or depending on how you write it, get even more valuable. And given that you have spent the past 15 years and beyond representing Fortune 500 companies in tax disputes with the IRS, your work could directly affect your former clients' bottom line. So, Mr. Korb, help me understand. How does handing out billions of dollars to corporations for research they already did lower costs for American families?
Thank you for that question. I'd also like to thank you for the meeting yesterday, and I will let you know granddaughter Anna really appreciated your signature.
Glad to hear.
I don't want to take up more of your time. You understand. Keep in mind that the Chief Counsel is responsible for administering the tax law. It's the U.S. Congress that is responsible for enacting the tax law.
Okay, so you're saying I don't have to answer this question, not my job. But Mr. Korb, you were IRS Chief Counsel for President Bush. You know that the IRS Chief Counsel has a central role in determining how these laws are implemented through regulations and guidance. This is where the action is. So I'm going to ask one more time, how is a tax break for research that's already been done anything other than a huge windfall for corporate America?
Thank you, Senator, for that question. While I do have some experience, what we used to refer to as the R&D tax credit during my many years of practice, I have to admit I've not drilled down on what is in this bill on that point. So
okay, well, let me try another.
I can't give you any view at this point.
Let me try another then. The tax giveaways in the big, beautiful bill are so large that massive corporations across America are going to see their tax bills drop dramatically. According to one estimate, Amazon, for example, is set to pocket over $15 billion this year alone. Meta will get $11 billion this year alone. Now, there is one backstop, and that is back in 2022, Democrats created a corporate minimum tax that prevents billionaire corporations from paying a tax rate lower than 15%. Already, corporations are trying to wiggle out of it by lobbying the Trump Treasury Department and the IRS to write weaker rules. Now, Mr. Korb, the corporate minimum tax is the law of the land, just like the big, beautiful bill. When billionaire corporations see their tax rates drop below 15%, because Trump and the Republicans gave them all these tax cuts, will you commit that you will not write new rules that let them out of paying the corporate alternative minimum tax?
Thank you for that question, Senator. And I do commit to follow the law that you as the Congress enacted in writing the regulations.
So let me make sure I understand your answer to this, because if anyone should be able to commit to following the law, it should be a person in this job. Does that mean you will commit to implementing and enforcing the corporate minimum tax as required by statute? Or do you believe these corporations are above the law?
Again, I have not studied the latest iteration of this. We've been through corporate minimum taxes, alternative minimum taxes, back to the 86 Act and beyond, and it keeps changing, okay? I do have a day job, so I've not studied every element of this bill. I apologize for that. Are there, in that particular statutory provision, is there authority given to the Treasury to write regulations?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what you're talking about. Okay. Again, keep in mind, tax policy is the job of the Treasury. As Chief Counsel, our lawyers work hand in glove with the Treasury lawyers to do that. And I will be involved in approving regulations, no question about it. And so probably I should not offer a view at this point in time, since I'm not up to speed yet.
Well, I just want to say, I'm over time, so I'm going to quit here, but I think it is wrong for the Trump administration to be handing out literally tens of billions of dollars to these giant profitable corporations, and you will be in a position to give them even more. And I am uncomfortable with the way I feel like you've dodged the answers to these questions. I want to hear that we're going to hold people at least to what the law specifically requires of them, even if they are billionaire corporations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.